Welcome to the Introduction to SWIIM Planner. If you're interested in learning more about how SWIIM came to be, check out the Introduction SWIIM Concepts video available on the SWIIM website. When you download SWIIM Planner, you will be prompted to create a username and password. You can check Remember Me if you do not wish to be prompted for login information each time you start the program. After logging in, you'll notice a Zoom to Zip Code pop-up window that appears if you don't yet have a farm in your map. This helps you zoom into your farm zip code area and makes it easier to find your farm on the map. The Getting Started guide provides a basic overview of the program, help menu, and optimization model. To keep this window from opening every time you start the program, simply unclick the checkbox at the bottom left corner. This is the main screen of SWIIM Planner. With any program, it's a good idea to review the Help menu before getting started. SWIIM Planner is set up to feature the specific Help menu for each part of the program that you're in. In addition to instructions, the Help menu also provides screenshots of what tools and functions look like. If at any time you need assistance, click on the question mark on the right-hand side, which will get you to the top level of help. Within the map, you can pan around or zoom in and out as needed. In this demonstration, the farm we'll be working with is located in Weld County. The layer tree on the left-hand side allows you to customize the map view. You can expand layer groups by clicking on the arrow. Some layers are only visible at certain zoom scales, so zoom in to activate the layer you want to use. You can adjust the transparency of a layer by using the transparency slider. Most of the layers from canals down are really for your informational purposes. You will mostly be working in the top 3 layers: farm, fields, and crop plan. Now it's time to develop your farm. Zoom in to find your property on the map and select the method to draw your farm. There are 3 options available: New by Rectangle, New by Trace, and New by Freehand. Trace your boundary and take a look at the Farm Attributes window that opens. You can input information about your farm, including the farm name, farm owner, and so on. Notice that the program automatically determines the county based on where you draw your boundary in the map. The farm area traced into the map is representational, and the calculated area can be edited. Once you trace your farm area, the program automatically puts you in a mode to input fields. Similar to the farm, you have 3 options for drawing your field. We recommend you change the default field name to something meaningful in order to better keep track of each field. Again, the graphic in the map can be representational. It doesn't have to be exact, so you can edit the acreage or other attributes as you like. Choose the crop associated with your field based on what you've historically grown. The soil type comes automatically from the background map, so be sure to change this if necessary. Continue to draw your fields and edit the attributes information. Remember to choose crops based on what you've historically grown. The opportunity to choose different crop types comes later. Note that the irrigation source and energy source you choose will affect the costs associated with irrigating your crops, which you will see later during the optimization. You can edit boundaries of an existing field by clicking the Edit Boundaries button and dragging the red dots to the desired location. You can edit properties by clicking on the Edit Properties button, and you can also delete fields by clicking the Delete button and selecting the field you want removed. Similarly, you can do all these same things with the farm itself. Remember that the help file is available to you, customized to feature tips on how to navigate the area you're in or best use the tools with which you're working. Now that you have your farm and fields, you're ready to optimize. Click the Optimization wizard and choose a template. The wizard will guide you through all the steps of the optimization. If you would like to edit detailed cost and income data, continue to use the Next button. Otherwise, you can jump over these screens and use the default values contained in the template you've selected, or values you may have previously entered. Each subsequent screen provides opportunities for you to fine-tune your inputs at greater levels of detail. The Income and Farm Costs page allows you to edit the price, yield, and costs on the crop you've historically grown. The Detailed Costs page allows you to edit the price, yield, and cost on all crops, including ones you might not have grown, but would allow the model to consider. For water costs, you should edit all energy sources to be consistent with what you're currently using. There are a couple calculators available to you by clicking the down arrows to help you calculate what goes into labor costs, should you need. Fill in the water allotment to reflect how much irrigation water you want to allow the model to consider. Also, edit your established historical CU and water lease price. The default represents an average for Weld County in this demonstration. Next, select any additional crops you're willing to grow on your farm. Under the fully irrigated crop list, the crops you chose during field development are already selected. You can select additional crops for consideration by the optimizer. Next, identify the crops you're willing to deficit irrigate. You can also set the minimum and maximum area that you want to allow for a given crop. You can force the model to give you a certain number of acres within a given crop, or limit the acreage to a given crop. On a field-by-field basis, choose the crops you're willing to grow. The program defaults the crops you've historically grown, but you can enter the other crops you're willing to entertain in a given field. The program gives you the flexibility to say that you want a field that's always fully irrigated corn and that's it, or you can choose a number of crops that you'd like to have considered. Once you've entered your information, submit the job to optimization. A pack of these inputs is sent to the server, and the server does a linear optimization of the results. This process usually takes between 30 and 40 seconds, based on the number of fields and crops. The results will come back to you and let you know which crops to grow to get the maximum net return, on which fields, and using what water proportions. The results page shows projected net return as well as historical net return. So it shows approximately what the net returns were in your historical practices, the ones you entered when you input the fields, and then what your projected net return will be if you implement the revised practices. Ultimately, this shows how you can grow the crops you need with less water. The water you save can then be leased for a price, adding to your overall revenue stream. If you accept the result, the program places the optimizer's recommendation in the crop plan layer of the map. It can later be submitted to a managing entity like a ditch company, as well as into SWIIM Manager to manage the water use as the crop is grown. You can save these optimization outputs and open old outputs to view results you had from earlier runs. You can compare several outputs to see how using different crops impacts your plan and net returns. You can print the results as well. Hopefully you found this introduction to SWIIM Planner video helpful. Remember that the help file is a good resource for additional questions. More tutorials will be available for the SWIIM Manager software.